Holy shit, just in time. Just in time. I just sat down with bonus coffee. How's it going? Man, there's already people in here? That's wild. That's wild. You're all hungry. Hungry for knowledge. Alright. Let's see. Okay. I had a title card, but maybe I'll add that in post.
3, 2, 1, go!
I think I'll just do that in post. That sounds way easier. Oh, sorry for the squeaky mic arm. I'm sure that all got picked up. This is a very ad hoc. It's Victoria Day in Canada, so I have a day off. So I slept in until like 4 p.m. 3 p.m.? 3 p.m. I got up and I was like, yo, everyone. I'm going to stream immediately. It has nothing to do with the fact that Kid Viper said that they were going to stream this same set. I was like, fuck, I got to get on it. I said I was going to do it yesterday, but I was so tired. I just sat around and played Terraria all day. Hey! Ryudo, thanks for the follow. Where's my little notification? What happened? Did it not play? I didn't see it play.
Krackatoa!
Weird. Very odd. Now you're on twice. You're on the board. I could make this board all Ryudo if I wanted to. I have the power. Anyways, thank you all for coming. We're going to have some fun. I have some big Strive thoughts that I've wanted to communicate for a while. And so I think we'll see a lot of good opportunities to talk about it in this set. This set is massive. I'm really glad I did that RF versus Kesuke fight, like episode 1, which you can check out on my YouTube, because I captured like the whole best of 10, and I might have gotten through the first match, and that was like 18 minutes to go through that. So there's a lot to dig through, I think. This is a new game. There's a lot of unexplored territory. We can sit and we can mull on like situations. I can kind of give my takes of what I see as good or see as like the spread of decisions in a given situation. Because I think a lot of people are having trouble with that right now. And I will say, a spoiler, it's kind of whack, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff in Strive right now that is incredibly, like, for Faust especially, it's just like, you could counter hit someone and be unsafe on hit. Like, it's that level of stuff. I think a lot of characters need like a quality of life pass by the developers to not only bring them more in line with like the top tier, right? Like, we're like, oh, Soul's so good, Ram's so good. But I feel like the other characters need a little TLC so that not only are they easier to play, but they're getting the reward they need for the right reads. I was thinking about he lands a counter hit dive kick on air hit and ends up right smack dab in front of Pot. I think he's plus, but it's hard to, even if you confirm in that situation, right? Or say you misconfirm, right? This is the thing. This is why I call it quality of life and not like you need to change this. If you can confirm between block hit and counter hit into different options, I think that you can still stay safe. You can still stay plus. Okay. So, I didn't capture Roundstart of the first round, sadly. They kind of jumped into it, and I was like, oh, record. But we start here with a counter hit dive kick, so that'll be fun. We'll just start here. We'll talk about counter hit dive kick. So, alright. I want to preface this interaction, regardless of what happens here, because I don't remember what happens in this video. Players, I think, especially Faust players, are going to have a kind of a tough time dealing with situations where they're a little bit plus or a little bit minus, because you don't have a lot of Gatling options. So after 2P or 5P, especially at a distance, you can't really combo into anything. You can't just do 2P 2H item toss like you used to, right? Not only can you not Gatling into 2H, but 2H into item toss on block is horribly unsafe. You'll see that a few times in the set where Nage will get max distance 2H item toss and he'll get counter hit punished by pot 5H, and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this game? This is like the big curse of having your expectations tooled and configured by older Guilty Gears. There's just a lot of sadness baked into some of these exchanges, right? When your expectations don't line up with reality, you kind of like, that leads to disappointment or, you know, some sort of bad feels, right? You're like, this wouldn't have worked like this in old Guilty Gear. What a dumb game. And it's like, well, the idea is, especially with regards to 2H in Strive, you're supposed to confirm into item tosses. You're not supposed to just do it on block. And that does lock out certain options and makes them kind of bad. You'll see towards the end of the set, I think, Nage does like a 6H into item toss on block at max range. It was so far out. And he gets counter hit punished for doing that. But you don't have any other options aside from teleport if you want to make something happen, right? After a 6H. So, and teleport's kind of whack, right? Like if you have RC, you're good. But like, if you don't, that's a real bad situation to put yourself in. So is that like the case? Is that how it's gonna pan out, right? Is it just like when you don't have 50 bar, you just don't use half your moveset? It's like, you know, that's kind of the situation Faust is in right now. 6H to Scalpel is also kind of bad. Every character has a 6P that can kind of whiff punish Scalpel on reaction. And Faust doesn't have a means to capitalize on a player playing reactively. That's the issue. So even if someone could, could just punish on reaction, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing if you can do something different to prey on the fact that they're, you know, just watching the screen waiting for that Scalpel to like 6P it, right? But as it stands, it doesn't look like Faust has anything that's good for a reactive player. Maybe you can do 2H nothing, but that's dubious. That feels so bad. Oh, and this, we're talking about 6H, right? So 6H, definitely not. You don't have anything you can chain into, and it's super, like, high recovery, right? So, like, what do you do? Especially at, like, a distance. There's going to be a distance where even trying to trap with mix, right? Because, like, maybe you, like, do a really delayed cancel to catch them pressing buttons to punish you, right? After they see the 6H fall flat on the earth or 2H recover, right? At certain ranges, some characters can just like counter hit the mix easy, and it's like way too easy to punish both, like you doing nothing and you doing mix. So we're in this like weird situation. I think it's gonna be like, hey, here's your punish, and it's like 45 damage and an item toss that is unsafe on block. Some of the stuff is going to be like, I think they might have like air blocked mix, stuff like that. There's a lot of potential for like running pretty solid pressure as Faust. I'm going to close my window because there's people doing yard work outside. Give me a moment. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is what I was doing in beta, and this is what RF was doing in beta. You pretty much go for pretty committal offense where you're doing lots of throws and stuff. Like it's a very throw-focused mix, right? Snip. And because throws in this game are very strong, very straightforward, the anti-throw counterplay in Strive, as we speak, is very weak and very committal. So it's much harder to hedge against a throw while defending against all the other options a character might have. It's way more straightforward. So you can kind of base your offense off of that. So what I would focus on, probably going into launch, is snip, 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 setting up Afro, setting the Afro on fire, and using that to cover further throws. And while this sounds risky, if you can time it so that Afro explodes to cover your attempts to check them for jumping or mashing against a throw, right? You can use your close S, right, to get a high reward if you snipe their button or their jump. You know, you snipe their throw counterplay. And then Afro explodes, and you get another chance, right? To me, that sounds like the goal. That's what I think is going to be very potent. And what this is going to set up, I feel, is that you're going to be able, there's going to be setups, right? There's going to be setups, I think, where you're going to get like opportunities to fuzzy the opponent if you call out their jump. Maybe. There's going to be a weird interaction involving like landing Blockstun and Afro exploding. I'll get into it more in detail, I think, when we go over the footage. But I do see a lot of potential there for like Afro explosion covered mix-ups. And it sounds very sus, because honestly, it's probably not as powerful as like, say, like Soul, who can kind of just do really rock solid mix, and Ram, really rock solid mix with just basic tools. But I think Faust has the potential there once he gets going with Afro. And command grabs just being so good, right? I don't think it's actually like a huge deal. Yeah, mashing throw, at least as Faust, doesn't seem all that good, like mashing against it. So a lot of Faust defense is going to be jump based. I think that's just my judgment call. You're going to do a lot of FD, a lot of IBFD if you can. It's like, it's really hard. I said this on Twitter the other day. It's very difficult to like IBFD currently. I kind of hope they buff that. But, and I might go through this in like another stream, I think there would introduce a lot of issues with current movesets if they just cranked it up. If they just juiced IBFD and it was super free, I think they would run into a lot of problems regarding certain characters. I think it would make the Ram and Soul far more manageable, but I think the rest of the cast would fall by the wayside.
Going my way!
They'd just become useless. Yo, subs, thank you. I appreciate it. Dryjoy is now part of the Goblin Horde. Welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a 3-frame window to IBFD, roughly, and that's too small to be practical. Because of the nature of delayed Gatlings in this game, it's much harder to call out a string with IBFD. It's pretty non-committal to try an IBFD, but you want to be able to do it with confidence so that you can respond cleanly to the opportunity, right? It's like, if you're just guessing at the IBFD window and reacting to the fact of whether or not you got it is difficult, then it kind of sucks to use, right? You're like, did I get it? Did I not get it? Did the opponent react to it? Like, what's going on? So we'll see. The main issue is if you jack up the window for IBFD, there's going to be a bunch of like these pseudo option selects and like that are going to like crop up because the window's so large, and everyone's offense is going to just fall apart. It would be glorious, but also terrible, and they'd have to redo all of the characters. It's already been like half an hour here since I booted up the stream, and we haven't even started the replay. All right, so let's look at this counter hit jump 2K. Does he convert? All right, let's find out. Okay, so he gets nothing here. He gets nothing. So he might have even been too far to combo into mix, which makes me very sad. It's just terrifying to like be like unsafe on block, unsafe on hit, but you can only convert on counter hit. Yeah. Here we go. This is the issue. Right here. So, this is where we feel intense pain. This situation is really bad. I'm pretty sure once players figure out the Faust matchup, this is just going to be like instant death. Jump 2K is a very powerful counter poke in this game. It's super strong. It's really easy and really fast to jump over a character's options. So in situations where you're not quite minus, not quite plus, or you're playing in neutral, Jump 2K is a very dominant poke. It's just very likely to whiff punish things. It's very likely to work. However, it's kind of unsafe on hit. And in some cases, it's unsafe on counter hit. And if you hit someone out of the air with it, maybe they jump into it, you're very minus in some cases. I think some characters have supers on deck, like Anji has his counter super, Sol has some stuff, like there's a bunch of characters who have like really dominant invincible moves as well. You're just body. You can't do anything to save yourself. You have to RC or you're dead. And right here, just like on reaction, boop, up and over, bang. And there's nothing you can do. Tries to whip punish. So at a distance, at super max distance, this is safe. In a lot of matchups, you're going to find characters that are slower and characters that are lack a lot of like fast movement. They can't get to Faust in time if he's at the tippy tip range of item toss. So in this case, with this far S, that's okay. Maybe. Pot might have been able to clip with 5H, but I'm not sure. And I want you to look at this. This is an anti-air punish. Right here, he jumps. But here, Faust jumped, right? And so anti-airs in this game are kind of committal. Pot is trying to punish a jump in with 6B. He's trying to anti-air dive kick or anti-air a jump slash or whatever. But you can whiff punish an anti-air attempt by throwing bag. Not bad. And this is what happens here. But if you get too cocky, let's go back. That's what happens, right? He did it again, but you can jump up to meet Faust. When he does bag, he's very vulnerable. I think a reaction punish to bag is actually like just jump at him, right? So if someone's on point, bag can be very dangerous. And this is true in Exert and Plus R. Lots of characters can just kind of like go after bag if they have like the means to do so. So you don't want to be too predictable when throwing bag. Sometimes you just want to like jump at them and like just keep an eye on them, right? Ooh, that was a very nice. This is a very nice punish. So this is something about Strive that Faust players are going to want to look into, right? In this situation, in past Guilty Gears, it would be much easier for you to just do a jump 2K punish. In situations where the opponent leaves a gap in their string, like Soul Gunflame, like doing 5H Gunflame, 6P does not avoid throws, no. In situations where there's like a small gap in pressure because the opponent is doing something that's going to be very safe on block if you respect it, a prediction jump forward would normally be followed, or jump back, would normally be followed by a dive kick. Dive kick in past games is very good on block, very good on hit, especially good on counter hit. So it's very, very, very safe in old games to just dive kick. It was much easier to do. And it's very hard to anti-air as well. You could jump, you could FDC, you could dive kick. You had a big mix-up built into your character in past Guilty Gears because of the air options. Faultless defense canceling your drill allowed you to like wait in the air after you jump and like play a little like mix-up game, right above their head after you jumped out of the gap. It was very strong. But in Strive, you don't have access to that anymore. So you have to do what other characters do, and you just have to jump in. You just jump forward, jump S, jump H, because the reward is very high, and it is kind of hard to contest if you go in after a button. Even if you don't get an absolute punish, jump S is so deep that you can force a very good situation for yourself on block. Potentially even mix up with a 50-50 if they stand block the jump H. Nice bait. Now the sad thing is, that is horrendously unsafe on block. But he had 50 bar. So here in this situation, he was probably thinking about going for mix on block. Probably doable. This is good. So you will see a lot of this from Nage. These low sequences followed by 5D RC. This setup is very hard to block. Just like uncharged 5D in Strive is invisible. I don't think you're going to run into many players, especially online, who are going to be able to block this on reaction. And so it's going to be very good to threaten with this whenever you get a chance to do so. And converted from low. Broke the wall. Very strong. In this game, it's very good to break the wall when you have the meter to do so. I just highly recommend it. Anytime you get a clean hit and you can break the wall and you have 50 bar, do it. And you're gonna see this situation following. This is what you're supposed to do after dive kick. This is where dive kick is very good. I mentioned dive kick is a super optimal poke. It just sucks on hit and block. But if you RC, and if you have meter to RC, you can use that dominant, this will hit at pretty much anything in their arsenal, outside of a straight up anti-air, or if they jump and avoid it, right? The most grounded pokes get crushed by the dive kick, because you jump over their poke, and you just whiff punish. It's pretty strong. And RC is going to be very good to convert on hit. It's going to be good to set up a tick throw, because you're going to be at advantage. And in some cases, you can fuzzy off of it. So it's just it's always good. Dive kick on block and on hit, always good. Always good. So I was grinding this at the end of beta, and it's just this is pretty much where you're going to be using your meter to bully the opponent, is that dive kick RC. And doing the fast RC, fast fall with jump H, or fast fall with another option, but probably the jump H, because that leads to a very advantageous situation for you. It's very good. If you have 100 bar, not only can you do falling jump H, but off that falling jump H, you get a 50-50. You can do rising jump K, and if they try to crouch, they're still in standing block stun because they block the jump H, and you can fuzzy them. If you need to know what a fuzzy is, you can look up that sick glossary. I can put a link in Twitch chat on info. And that might go into some detail. You either call it a fuzzy overhead or an f-shiki. So Faust has these like pretty hard to block setups that are pretty good. So closing out a round, or depending what, maybe they have Afro, you can actually set up some pretty heinous shit. Yeah. All right. Roundstart. So Roundstart 5P. I think in this game, that's probably not bad. You saw that the 5P actually just sort of like touched Potemkin. So he probably doesn't have a lot of answers to deal with 5P on Roundstart. He might be able to Roundstart 6P to go under it, and that's probably kind of scary. But I think the rest of his options probably lose. Pot doesn't really want to backdash on Roundstart because Faust would get a reaction like far S2H at max range. Pot probably can't jump over the 5P very well. It seems like a very dominant option, similar to like Roundstart 2P from Faust. Yeah, see, here's the thing. I don't think Roundstart Hammerfall would actually win. This is some lesser known tech, but you can actually, in this version of the game, this version of the game, you know? This version. Oh, if I just point to the game on my screen and it works. Okay, good. In this version of Guilty Gear, you can 6P on reaction under Hammerfall. And Faust can chain into 6P from 5P. So he could 5P, see the Hammerfall, and just like swat into like a lot of damage. 6P on Counterhit, or 6P clash with armor. And then once Hammerfall whiffs, you mix. Because the Hammerfall will just like clash with the 6P, but it won't clash, as in like the clash mechanic. You'll tag their armor with the 6P. And then the Hammerfall just like goes over the 6P and whiffs. And then you cancel the 6P late into mix. And if you do that mix combo extension, right, where you move forward and then you hold down back, and then just before the last hit you hit up back, you get a full combo, which is like disgusting. That's a lot of damage for like a Hammerfall punish in this game. I feel pretty nice when I land that. I did it a few times. I got some anti-pot sets towards the end of the beta with a friend of mine, so it was pretty good. It was a fine time. I was like, it was good. So they might change Hammerfall to like not be so fucking wasted by 6Ps like come the actual game, but we'll see. Right. So here's this, just general jump H bullying, right? It's very hard to anti-air. And if he's scared of like other jump-in options, you know, he doesn't want to whiff a 6P, right? He's trying to like feel out Nage and like feel out his approach options, and he doesn't want to just like eat shit for some reason, right? Now this was a sick like, what the hell was this? I don't know if that was a reaction. I want to see, okay? I have a way to see. Okay, we're gonna count some frames here. This is what I do. When I'm trying to like get in the head of a top player, what I want to ask myself first is, did they do what they did on reaction or on prediction? And in order to do that, you want to know the precipice of human reactions. You want to be aware of it. So players don't react in like instantly, right? There's always a lag. And Wasted Flan points out in chat, 14 frames or so, right? That's like a Twitch reaction. That is a very well-trained reaction time. Some players can do that pretty consistently in a complex situation, but it's very, very rare. SKD is notorious for having really clean reaction times. And in BlazBlue does some heinous shit. I know there's that that sick video which is like kids react to Valkenheim Jump D or whatever it's called. Or Jump A. And it's just like this heinously fast reaction in a, like a very complex high-low situation. I can't do that. If you were to play me, that 14 frame measurement does not apply, right? I react more in like 18 frames, 20 frames, and it depends on how complex the situation is. You can generally ballpark. You're like, okay, if this was in 17 to 20 frames, this is probably a reaction, especially when it comes to like a top player who's well trained. So let's see. Okay. All right. So can I step back? Okay, this is frame 1. All right.
Krackatoa!
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 24, 25, 26, 27, 27 frames, thereabouts. Okay, well, that's fine. So, but it seemed like a generous enough reaction. So that was a reaction air dash. Perfect, great. So that's something to keep in mind. And Zeus, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. But off this air dash, there's not a lot you can do to escape, right? So something you could do, I think, in this situation is actually cancel your air dash into mix as a punish, right? Lift yourself up by the legs and just mix as a whiff punish. Because you can mix like in any direction, right? Maybe you could like just barely dodge the strike and then punish. Another thing would be if you are super jumping or in a super jump state, you could auto correct probably with Divekick. Because when you're in a super jump state, like if you jump with a super jump, your character like will auto correct and face the right direction when you pass over the head of the opponent. I think an air dash out of a super jump, you'll still dive kick with the corrected direction, but I'd have to double check that. So this came up in the Kumite as well. They did that little highlight, right, where they talked about getting bomb behind Potemkin so he can't like touch it, and that's very smart. That's like, and then FAB being like super godlike, and there's that jump S again, right? So that's like that is essentially your go-to punish. And you know what? Let's look at the startup on this. So it doesn't actually take that long to get up and over something. So I want to see how long this took, right? Was this a reaction punish? Can you just reaction punish Garuda, right? Okay, this is a pretty obvious special cancel, right? So maybe it is reaction punishable with jump S, jump H. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 17 frames, and he started to jump. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. I think that was a reaction. I honestly think that was probably a reaction time, or a proper reaction. You could probably jump this. And look, he picks up his legs with FD. A magical thing about Faust in Guilty Gear, and this is also true in Strive, is if his air FD box is super flat. So his regular jump is very long, but his air FD animation, he squishes like a pancake. And so you can pick your legs up to more quickly get over attacks, whether they're buttons or projectiles or whatever. So in the case of weight, you have to react to the item and jump. Faust doesn't have a cooldown on his items in Strive, so he really wants to just throw items endlessly. If you throw Meteors, you just keep pulling items when you see it, and that's a good time. if you throw a really dominant item that maybe the character has a trouble dealing with, you just keep pulling and playing the gotcha. Things can kind of spiral out of control. Generally, you're looking for Chibi Faust, so right here, it's like, this character, like, Chibi Faust is so good that I think if you get Chibi Faust, you probably want to just give up on playing the gotcha and go in, because this projectile cover is just so nice. But getting a weight really slows down your ability to just, like, pull items relentlessly, because you have to leave the ground. You have to backdash, which is probably the best idea to, like, dodge the hit, or jump. Oh, so here, you can actually 6P this. And it's not bad. I'd have to double check. We need time with the game to see if 6P here is actually like a really good idea with when RC is on deck. Because like Pot has PRC, RC, or whatever here, so maybe it's not a good idea. But I found it was still pretty good. We just have to figure out the timing. Oh, gets blocked. Yeah. So here's the thing. This is hella plus on air block. This move. Whoo! So, in Strive, you have a special landing state. This is the special Air Blockstun state. So if you're in Blockstun and you land, you have bonus Blockstun. You have 17 extra frames for landing while in Blockstun. 17 extra frames of Blockstun for landing while in Blockstun. So this means a character can walk up and get real close after you air block something, and then run another strike throw mix-up. Now, this is where even top players are not well practiced. So this looks like a block string close S. This doesn't look like a snipe against jump. I think Faust is still in kind of like the, yeah, still in the landing block stun animation. But as players develop and get better, you're going to find that they get really good at leaving a tiny gap after that air block stun window, the bonus block stun window. And they're gonna be much more threatening. They're gonna have clean tick throws from that air block stun state, and they're gonna have clean frame traps from that air block stun state. And I think that's where you're gonna see a lot of development in the cleanliness of play. And if you're not thinking about this kind of stuff, you should be. Because the strike throw mix using close S normals across all characters is probably their most damaging, most punishing way of like ripping open an opponent. I know a lot of people complain, it's like, oh, this character has no mix, or SKD posted that like that 5k 6H Ramlethal video. You're just not, as it stands now, if you want to make a character work, you don't go for that shit. You just go for throw, where you base your mix off like raw close S, and you try to convert and confirm off single hits, and build a mix off of the threat of jump cancel, the threat of delayed chain from close as, stuff like that. And that might not seem all that good, but if you have 50 bar, or if you feel like you have the read, it's like probably the best thing. Some of these like weaker characters, I feel, probably they're some of the better tools that they have available to them. Yeah. Nice late flip. Oof. Good whiff punish from FAB. Oh, see, here's a problem. This is what I was talking about. So if you, generally, you're encouraged to do stuff as soon as you can.
Going my way!
Yo, ja. Haha, 102. Just subscribe. Welcome. Welcome to the land of Faust, where we do nothing but pull gotcha all day, every day. So, This is also something players are going to have to get used to. Like if you're playing as Faust, is reacting to the item toss, specifically weight, as soon as it comes out, so that you don't make mistakes like this. Right? That's just bad. Ooh. So right here, this is another thing you're going to want to work on, is being mindful of your jump S spacing. If you want to challenge air-to-airs with your jump S as you jump, then doing an early jump S is probably good. But if you just happen to clip them standing, it's like you don't get your reward, right? It might be better to like delay slightly to ensure that you get like the full combo should you actually clip them, right? He would have gotten a huge reward for that. And this is what I was talking about with regards to mix. Right before the RC, you're going to see a lot of this. 2H on block is generally unsafe. But you can challenge attempts to punish it by canceling into mix on a delay. Mix is very fast, very dominant hitbox, and with RC, you can make it safe or convert on a hit. Now, I will say that it is possible to convert meterlessly on a hit. So, with that weird mix extension I brought up earlier, you can turn stray mix frame traps into like a lot of damage and a really scary amount of corner carry. So, in my eyes, that really boosts up Faust's mix-up potential, even when he's minus. So after 2P, when you don't know what to do, when you feel like the opponent's going to press a button right away, mix might be the answer. Just cancel right into it. It's good. I actually like the commentary quite a bit on this. It's very colorful. I think it was aimed at the right audience. And you know what? There wasn't a lot of instances in the commentary where they were incorrect about stuff, which makes it very listenable to me. If someone is trying to go into detail and they're saying things that are incorrect, I'm guilty of this too. It just like, it hurts me inside, right? You just feel that like, oh, they just said something really like factually wrong and they're spreading misinfo. These guys are really good at doing low-level commentary. When I say low-level as in like, it's just aimed at like, you know, it's just sort of aimed at the average player. These are guys who aren't super familiar with the game, and they mentioned they lost their high level guy, right? Because he didn't pass his COVID test. But these guys did a wonderful, fantastic job at doing very listenable commentary, and it might not have broken into the guts of it right in the moment. But honestly, for fighting game commentary, that's not all that good anyways. I find that in a lot of situations, right? To like, you're like, oh, good mix, oh, the sick setup, blah. And that's all you really need to like do the commentary like mid-match, right? It's just too much work and it takes too long to go on these long exposés into why a mechanic works the way it does. It's much better to like keep things simple. And you do have color commentary that might like be like, oh, that was a sick option select. Oh my god, that was a high level burst bait, right? Which does require like an eye for mechanics and stuff. Shoutouts to Ryan Hunter, who is actually, I feel, was like one of the first guys in Guilty Gear to save us from like the dark ages of like uninformed Guilty Gear commentary. He was the first to climb out of the primordial ooze of Guilty Gear commentary, right? When we were all trying to learn. But I think like fighting game commentary has come a long way when it comes to like people who don't actually know what they're talking about, but offering insight and appreciating the game while it's being played out. So, yeah, it's good. I like it. And it's not everyone's cup of tea. Maybe someone isn't like all that big on the like listening to that kind of commentary. But I can appreciate that commentary and the work that goes into it, right? And that makes it a lot more listenable, a lot more watchable for me, I guess. Ah, there's that Roundstart 5P. Oh, there's that punish again. Oh, Kara Buster. So let's see what went wrong. So here's this. Unsafe on block, unsafe on hit, unsafe on counter hit, probably. Maybe you can mix on counter hit. But I know that in some cases, it doesn't even get you a combo. Ugh. And then FD's on Wake Up to try and make a gap for himself. But that was the wrong answer, right? Scared of Pot going after his jump. But you can't cover all options, right?
Oh, there we go. You saw that, the Kara pop buster?
Yep, we saw Reinhardt learning it earlier. We just
Good blocks. Oh, I wonder what that was supposed to be. That seemed like a misinput. This is not something you want to do in a defensive situation. Maybe he thought Pot was going to respect the minus frames after slide. And didn't. So here in this situation, I wonder what the spread of options is, right? Like, what is that? That's not a cancel, is it? That would be wild. I think that's just... Can you chain that? Is that a special cancel into a special cancel? The hell is that? That looks so wild. Maybe it's just like... Maybe it just recovers really... You can chain that into it? Oh my god, that's disgusting. So something to think about doing in this situation would be 5k probably. Because 5k... Can you cancel that into Hammerfall? Chat? Is that something you can do? So in this situation, I would probably think that 5k is a very risk-averse option. Pot's gonna cancel into stuff. That's wild. I didn't even know that. So we're learning something. Maybe that was just like a really... Maybe that slide head recovers really quickly and really oddly. So that was actually just like a linked option. And it's just deceiving. But in this situation, I would probably 5k. Little boy says it was canceled. We're trying to check the tapes right now. But it's so hard to believe. It's so hard to believe. That's wild. Super wild. Garuda. Ooh, caught the jump, but didn't believe. Pot could have did a little more damage here if he had believed the fact that he was going to catch Nage jumping. But he's just been going for these Garuda rebinds. The thing is, if you build someone's risk bar, these close S traps become confirms on their own, right? If someone is at above 50 risk, the little purple bar at the top of the screen, right? If you look up there under the burst meter, if that gets up to 50, your close S traps become very potent, right? Because you can just like do one and just let it raw. And on block, it's pretty safe to do a close S. It's even quite advantageous. And on hit, you just get full combo. You just convert. You just like, oh, I hit them. Counter, right? You just go in. Good anti-air, but doesn't get anything. Isn't that wild? That's, to me, this is where like Strat gets really strange. Is like these anti-airs right here that they're low to the ground but are normal hit. It's so hard to convert off this. On counter hit, this is like a big deal, right? You get a lot of damage. And on block, you can force them to block something in midair. You can do 6p Hammerfall, or not Hammerfall. 6p Heat Knuckle, right? I think. But on hit, it's just bad. It's just really shitty, right? And this is the same for Faust. Faust loves to land 6p mix on block because it causes an air block mix. And it then your plus is Faust. But on hit, it doesn't combo, and you're punishable. And on counter hit, it does combo, and you get a pickup. So you don't want to go into mix on hit, but you do on counter hit, and you do on block. That's like, what? Like, it's like, it's hard. It's so hard to do. It's like not an easy confirm, but you want to do it because your cancel options are so limited. You want to go to item toss on hit, mix on block, and mix on counter hit. You don't want to throw an item on counter hit, it's a waste. You do want to throw an item on counter hit at max distance because the mix won't combo. It's like, come on, ArcSys, give me a break. Increase the startup on mix or something, or decrease it so I can actually like just make things easier for myself. I'm salty. Okay, they both jumped. They both responded. Ah, very good answer. So Divekick in general does beat a lot of buttons, so it is a very good counter poke. But you saw, this is the answer. Go up and over it. There's a good chunk of his life bar. Well, here's something to realize. That is a plus 5D. 5D on air block is plus or safe. So you can take a pot shot at someone low blocking with 5D, and if they block it, if they happen to jump to like say avoid a throw on prediction, but they end up blocking the 5D in midair, it's still your turn. And you can try to go after their jump again. Ooh. So I wonder if there's a better pickup here. This is like knockdown, right? But I think Faust could have did far S if he had time. Far S, 5H, mix. Or dash in deep 5H. I'm wondering. Or maybe just raw mix. Right? Like dash in, just do it raw. Yeah. So, but that's a practice thing, right? You're not 100% sure how the meteors are going to land. You don't know how much time you have. But as Faust players get better, they're going to start turning that into like a raw hit. And I think you would break the wall meterlessly in this case. Nice escape. Good reaction to the anti-air. So you see this? He sees that he doesn't get the combo off the anti-air 5k attempt and just pieces out, right? This is the important thing about saving your air options, like your double jump or your air dash. You don't want to burn it unnecessarily, because when you jump at the opponent, you want to be able to be like, oh, fuck, I'm out, I'm gone, get me out. See, here's... Sometimes I think it's better to just let this shit whiff. So bad. Just let it recover. Ah, nice punish. So here, with this punish against Slidehead, I'm almost certain you can extend this. I'm not sure if Nage knows about the mix extension going into this set. What you're supposed to do is go forward to like build momentum and start comboing the opponent, pull back for the third hit, and right before the fourth hit, do down back, or down on the third hit. And then on the last hit, do up back right before or during the impact of the last hit. It's actually like kind of hard to do, but it feels practical. And what'll happen is you'll get this crazy weird ground bounce due to gravity. I think it's like a bug in momentum, or it's like a collection of momentum between the third hit and the fourth hit. If you send them downwards with the third hit and upwards or up back with the last hit, they have more acceleration or something, or like some movement delta is like weirdly configured when you do that. And so it causes a big ground bounce where you wouldn't normally get it. And so you can actually like close S mid-screen to pick up. So you can do raw mix here, do the little weird fucking pentagram summoning circle, and pick up with close S, 2S, mix, and do it again. If you get them to the corner, you can then end, I think, with 5k 6H mix, which is like just really good. It's like crazy. Or even take them to the corner, 5k 6H RC wall break. Because there's probably some like high gravity wall break routes, but we'll have to find that on launch. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna patch it out. This would involve mucking about with how characters are picked up by Mix, so I don't think they're gonna do it. I went into this talk a while ago about how like movement and shit works in Guilty Gear with regards to like combo launch trajectories. And notice how you can like pull characters with you as you mix and they don't drop out. That's because the move like launches the opponent slightly based on your direction, right? They don't want characters like, you know, if they're above you and you mix downwards, you don't want the character like popping up and out and then like falling or some shit, right? They're very particular with how the 8 directions of mix, or sorry, the 9 directions of mix launch the opponent, right? Yeah, the suck quotient, right, has to line up for that to work. So they probably don't want to shift things too much. So it'll probably stay in. It also doesn't seem like too powerful. It just seems good, right? It doesn't seem like, yeah, it doesn't seem too bad. So we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows? I just don't think they have enough time to like care about it too much. Especially if it turns out to be like something that's like in the physics system, right? Maybe they could fix it if they really wanted to, but I don't think they're gonna.
Recovery right now. Okay, the approach. Here we go.
And there's another trap, but he has a ton of bar. So these frame traps, like 2D is horribly unsafe on block. Even if you cancel into like Scalpel or whatever. It's really bad. So you want to contest with mix. You want to make sure that they kind of respect it. So it's okay to go for 2D and follow up with mix RC. Just do it. Nice. Very good. Very good. This is textbook break the wall. Everything about this is something you should try to do and learn to do. Let's watch it again. So low expects another low from the 2K, right? Because 2K is a bunch of low hits. It might actually be mid-low-low. I don't think it's 3 low hits. I think it's actually like mid-low-low now. But that's not a big deal, right? 2 is enough. 2 is enough for this. So he went low then high instead of low then low. And with 50 bar, pop, he's plus on block if FAB blocks this invisible overhead, right? But also leads into a great combo on hit. This wall break is great. Now he's going to build meter like mad, right? Manages to clip him. Actually, how did he get that Afro? Right, he gave it to him mid-combo. That's so sick. So there's multiple reasons to do this route, right? The item you pull can give you more advantage later on. I think if you pull a trumpet here, you might actually be able to like combo into super and then pick up off trumpet after the super. I saw an item combo that was doing that earlier. Ooh, whack air chain option, sad. So as players develop their skills and their situational awareness and their knowing what height to do what string at, I think you'll see less of this kind of goof. I think you'll see less of that. Less mistakes like that, right? This is the pain of a new game. Oh, look at that. Oh, no. Oh. All right. Ryudo, I think this is what you're talking about, maybe? So, was it an air hit? No, it wasn't. What ended up happening was he started to OTG with the mix hit. The initial hit of the mix picked Potemkin up, but Potemkin fell too much before the second hit and started to enter the OTG state. And in Strive, that means you can't really combo or pick them back up off the ground. You only have a few more hits and then they'll roll. So he's fully punishable. So what I think you can do, potentially, I'm not sure, I don't have the game, I can't confirm this, but I think in this situation, if you hold up forward, or hold straight forward and don't go down, I think you'll still pick them up. Because of the weird, the knock-up differences, right? I was talking about like velocity being different on the different directions. I think if you hold up forward, or forward, you'll pull them, you'll keep them up high enough off the ground. But we'll see. Ooh, goes after him. Oh, there's that trap again, right? So he missed the chance to pick up here. That's okay. Snip, snip, snip. It's good. Oh, is this the comeback round? Yeah, it is, isn't it? This is gross. So Pot is really bad at dealing with these bananas. He doesn't have a dash, and his jumping options are kind of sus. So if he picks up the banana, yeah, he gets health, but he can't move through them very easily. That was a crazy exchange. And that was sick. Jump 2K. RC on block is just always good. It's always good. If it hits, great, you get a full combo. If it counter hits, great, you get a full combo. On block, you get a mix-up. That's worth 50 bar in Strive. Good block. Yeah, so here, with this bomb, I'm not sure if Pot has enough time to get up and hit Faust, right? He tries to jump, but he doesn't get there in time. That's something to think about when going for these high bomb tosses. If someone is in the middle of something, a middle of an animation, or they're falling from their double jump, or they're just like in the middle of a poke, you might have a safe bomb toss from the air. A bag or love or whatever you want to call it, right? So you can kind of like whiff punish and set up a decent situation for yourself by throwing bag and using the bag as cover to do other stuff, right? He's plus here. This was an uncontestable bag. And so even though it didn't punish anything explicitly, because it was so hard to contest, you know, he got to go in after. Nice. So, this is a setup I do, where you OTG with the close S, take a little pip of damage, right? It doesn't do much, watch. Pow. It does one letter worth of damage. It did the N in Potemkin in terms of damage. But you can meaty with the 6H. The 6H at this distance is maybe safe on block, but probably not. It's unfortunate that he didn't confirm into Scalpel. Because even if the Scalpel can be bursted, it's worth getting the combo, getting the damage, or taking the burst away, right? So learning to react to your counter hits is going to be very important going forward. Bone to knockdown. Oh, let's see. What did that hammer do? Okay, so here's the thing. Hammer, in this version of the game, bounces. So you can use it to cover mix-ups. It didn't work here. It didn't bounce. But I think depending on like how that whole setup played out, it might have gone a little differently. That's something that's going to take some practice, because it's kind of spacing specific based on like how the 2D like knocks down and lands. But you are going to get some heinous shit from this. This is really good. Because that hammer is very plus, right? You can go close S. Oh, I didn't get their, I didn't get a punish against their throw counterplay. Darn. Then the hammer connects. So you're mega plus. maybe the hammer actually connects them, trying to like deal with the situation after the close S. And then you do another close S. And on hit, it all combos. And on block, it's like 3 small mix-ups, like baked in. That's really good. That was off a 2D hammer toss at certain ranges. All right, next round. Roundstart. Roundstart 5P backdash. Good. Good for Faust. Ooh, oh, punished. Punished again. God, that's so sad. I think Nage might have tried to do something on landing though. I think he just got clipped. Maybe not. Oh, disgusting. Nice backdash. Air backdash, jump H. Great cover. The thing about jump H in this matchup is that Pot is horrendous at getting over or under jump H. So anytime you do like jump H in this matchup, if he's jumping, you're probably going to catch him with the jump H. So he has to either hit it out of startup, like do a button into it. But if he's just jumping and blocking or jumping and trying to approach safely, he has to like eat the jump H if you do it. So prediction jump H's are very strong because they're very likely to catch an airborne Pot. And reaction jump H's to like a given situation might also be quite rewarding. Oh, nice flick, great flick. I wonder if Nage's getting hit on purpose to deny the Oki. The situation after blocking the explosion is probably really bad, right? Because Pot's in your face, and he's plus, and he's in Kara Buster range. It's like, shit, get me out. So he just eats the hit. You see him eat the hit a ton in this matchup. No whiff punish. That's a hard whiff punish. Okay, we're gonna do some experimentation here. So, Pot tries to read the jump. Nage tries reaction whiff punish. Okay, we're gonna look at this. How clean do you have to be to punish Hammerfall or Heat Knuckle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Frame 24? Not even close. Oh shit. There's actually, that startup on that move was faster than I thought. When does he start doing it? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-ish. Oh, we got some artifacting. That's okay. So, 13 frame startup on the 2D. Heyoh no. We're gonna look at this. And I'm just gonna count the frames. So 13 frames on the 2D. We're gonna count the total duration of Heat Knuckle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. About 29 frames. Okay. So 29 minus, let's say 13, is what?
Krackatoa!
Yo, Martha, thanks for following. That's like 16 frames or so, right? Is that is my math correct? Yeah. So a 16 frame reaction for a 2D whiff punish doesn't seem good. That doesn't seem doable in my mind. Because that also entails like you react to the first frame of Hammerfall, which I don't think is going to happen. You're probably going to react closer to like the when he starts to reach, right? You're like, there it is, there's the animation, I'm going to press a button. And 2D is going to be too slow. 2D at this range is horribly unsafe. Nage doesn't even have meter, right, to cancel into anything good. So the punish here would not be 2D, it would probably be 5K. 5K 2D. 5K starts up in like 8 frames or some shit, right? An 8 frame move is going to be able to punish a 29 frame total duration, like a 29 frame whiff an 8-frame move, that's a 21-frame reaction. I could do that, right? Yeah, FAR-S is super slow as well. 2S also kind of slow. And now he eats shit for this, right? Boop. Very minus. That's a punish. Counter hit punish. Dead. All because he reacted with the wrong move. But this is something we'll learn, right? In the future, I have no doubt that you'll see 5k punishes against Hammerfall instead of 2D. Or maybe 2S, 5H, does reaction punish. Maybe it's fast enough. I don't know the frame data on 2S, but I think it's something like 11 frames. I would still take the 5k 2D knockdown. Or if you want to be a real god, you do 5k 6-6 RC explosion and you pick up off that. Oh, see here again with learning to confirm that into Scalpel. You got time is super key. Scalpel is so much more rewarding than throwing an item. That's an interesting pickup too. He couldn't really get anything else here. I wonder if he could. I wonder if he could combo into 6H here. Because it's such a high counter hit. Maybe not. Great pressure. Great pressure. I think he tried to bait burst here. This is all burst save until the 2D. So he could have probably went for a delayed mix after the 2K to bait the burst as well. But he just tried to take the knockdown. Not a bad choice. Like, sometimes just, like, eating the burst, right? And just going for your safe thing and getting put full screen is fine. You're Faust. You like being at range. So if someone bursts you away, that's no big deal, right? Someone like Pot would find way more reward in baiting a burst. But for Faust, he's winning at a distance. He has the life lead. Good. Till. Okay, good burst. Gets all that meter. So right here, RC probably would have won him the match. But it's a hard confirm. It's not easy. It's a high pressure situation. RC would have worked really well here, but I think he was interested. I don't think he wanted to break the wall because he already has 100 bar, right? And the next mix-up will probably kill. I just think he's not confident in his mix conversions. And I think that'll change as once the game launches. Nice mix out of the corner. To me, this just seems really good. Like, to me, this seems like it'll be the go-to defensive option for Faust. This looks incredibly hard to punish. Like, really hard for a lot of characters. So I think, and look at what happens just before the mix, right? Bag and flies after it. The bag is going to be active for quite a while you mix away. So I think a lot of characters aren't, even characters with like fast runs, they're going to have to jump over the bag to get to you. There might not be like a really good punish. So bag toss, mix, probably a really solid defensive tool. Faust already has like a really good super jump, right? It's really high, goes really fast, and he's really small when he FDs on the way up. So I think this little maneuver is going to be something you're going to really want to have in your toolbox. I said, oh, scary. So here, right here, Nage had enough time to 6P here and punish the Hammerfall. Yeah, he could have did like Hammerfall break and then like really punish the 6P. I think maybe. It might actually be hard because like Hammerfall break is way slower in this game. So it might actually be like really spicy for Pot to actually properly bait out like a reaction 6P done versus Hammerfall. But Faust can get a big reward for 6Ping through the Hammerfall. Huge reward. So that'll be something to keep in mind going into launch. A nice little sequence. There's probably a better confirm here. I think he just didn't react in time. I'm almost certain. Faust can go into like 2S mix here. Into like extension. But I could be mistaken due to gravity or whatever. Oh, good punish. So he goes for a throw, and Pot correctly reads. So in this situation, you kind of like the right answer. You know, it's not wrong to go for throw in a mix-up situation, right? It's just, you just guessed wrong. Close as... Footsie. That's another thing. This is so hard to... it's so hard. This like string, you don't have anything else you can really go into from here. There's nothing else. You really have to like try and like link close S there. So here I would actually go into 2P and just take the plus frames. That's it. But it's not good either way. Or go into the 6P earlier, right? So it doesn't whiff. What a backdash. That was a really strong backdash. I think he just lets himself die here. It's not worth bursting. It's clipped. Nice punish. Oh, see? Here's what I'm talking about. His hammer is just super active, right? Watch. He goes to whiff. He goes to like poke Faust, and then even if he had traded or like knocked Faust down, he would have eaten shit by the hammer, right? Gets hit. Dodge. Nice. See, that's save your double jumps, right? Dodge the heat knuckle. Pressure string. So here's the thing. Pot was waiting for like a 2D extension so that he could get like a decent punish, or he was waiting out like mix RC. But if someone's playing reactively like that, you can just let your 2K rock and then do another one, right? And punish their response. So Nage's seeing that FAB is playing reactively here, and so he's capitalizing on that. A player playing reactively is operating on like an inherent lag, right? They're like, everything they do, every decision they make comes at like a 16 frame deficit as they wait to respond to what they see on the screen. So in here, he doesn't punish the 2K, even though 2K is minus, because he's expecting other options that he's trying to wait out and watch for. So he gets the knockdown. And here, right? It's like, well, this had hammer cover, so maybe I was wrong. This was that hammer situation I was talking about earlier, where you can kind of like cover your throw counterplay by going in before and after the hammer connects, right? The hammer acts as cover, which is very strong. So if Pot had tried to break throw here or jump, he would have died. And if Pot had tried to break throw here, right here, or jump, he would have died. FAB blocked correctly, complete. Sad. Nice back Mega Fist. Nice 2D. Goes in. What a conversion. Boop. That combos. 2P doesn't normally combo into much, but a great fast low check is plus after hammer, so even if Pot blocks, he gets a small like front-facing mix. Very good. They both jump back. So here's the thing about Scalpel, right? It's technically reactable, right? People can 6P through this on reaction if they see it, but someone has to be playing reactively to stop it. And that inherent lag I mentioned, that 16 to 20-ish frames of just like someone's like watching the screen looking for stuff, that means you can use that delay to kind of like, you can abuse that, right? Someone's not going to respond to your movement on prediction. They're not just going to like press buttons out in neutral if they're afraid of Scalpel, right? They're not going to like whiff a button because they might just like eat Scalpel for it. So a player playing reactively at a distance is inherently good for you. You might be able to get away with item tosses. You might be able to get away with like little movement tricks. People respond worse to like you jumping and throwing bag, depending on the character and the positioning. Someone might need to like jump on prediction or approach on prediction to punish you jumping and tossing bag. So forcing them to play reactively with Scalpel, being like, hit the Scalpel if you want, watch for it, you know, look for it. You might be able to set up a better situation for your other options if you force the player to want to play reactively. And there's prediction jump H's in case pot jumps. Nice flick. Jesus. Throws hammer.
What are we throwing his way? A hammer?
These are just anime footsies at this point.
More stuff?
Nice.
Can we appreciate, by the way, that this move...
Yeah, unsafe. Unsafe item toss. Oh, so Pot tried to turn that into like a red RC conversion. Every character in the game can do jump P, dash macro RC. So he tried to go for that here, I think. You see he kind of shimmies forward? Yeah, he shimmies forward. If he had gotten that a little cleaner during the impact of the jump P, he would have got a full pickup. And probably would have ended the round. He ends it anyways. The pocket or Faust can do the same thing. If you land a really high jump P, air to air, you can do 6-6 or dash macro RC. Yo, Wonder Mustard, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Twitch viewers. Yeah, it's like every character can convert that way. It's a pretty much universal. Sometimes jump P is like a really good option. It's fast. It's safe on block. Usually plus on block from like a normal jump because you can still air dash after. Very good. Actually, you can still air dash cancel after super jump, can't you? Something like that. So there's lots you can do after the jump P. So that's like pretty sick. Oh, unsafe. Oh, gets clipped. Unsafe. Oh, that's scary. That's scary. I'm almost certain he can 5H there, but maybe not. Nice flip. I think he didn't eat the flick hit here. Because I'm almost certain he was afraid of a weird banana interaction. I think he was afraid of getting flicked and like running into and getting juggled by the banana. But maybe not. Maybe he just thought he could defend himself. He still had burst. Scary. Projectile cover. Uses it to go for throw. Oh my god, that was so terrifying. Holy shit. I think he goofed the OTG. I think that's what that was. Scary. A lot of these... This has to be unsafe. This 6H he did. After this. So this was, I think, a goof. And I think... Oh, you know what? This was safe because of the hammer cover. Nice. But this was unsafe. I'm almost certain that 5H would have punished there. But maybe it wouldn't have led to anything because of bananas. Nice. Nice throw. There we go. Goes in. Very good. Very good. You're doing so well, Nage. I'm proud of you. Roundstart 2P. Nice. Nice pickup. Nice hit. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, we got Afro on deck. Light him on fire. Light him up. That was a good setup. So I think Pot is scared of Fuzzy here. This is why he ate shit with regards to the low. And then ate the overhead. Nice. Good pickup. Oh, it doesn't pick up. So here, in this combo, there's a better route, but it's distance specific to the corner. I think here you do jump S, jump H instead of jump H. And then you go into your combo, and the proration is a little better. Nice hit. Just going to town, spending that bar, trying to make something happen. Pressure. Forces him into the Afro? No, the Afro just disappears. And that's just a raw throw attempt, isn't it? Yeah, manages to frame trap with the mix. And he had meter, right? So, it's so unfortunate that he doesn't know about the raw mix conversions, because that can be a wall break, just like off raw, just meterless. Good throw. Oh, so it goes for a fuzzy setup. So this setup here is supposed to be jump H, rising jump K, fuzzy, dive kick, fast RC, jump H, wall combo. So he goofed it, sadly. It's hard to set up. Nice. Nice challenge. But kind of sad, right? It's like you can't do shit after this. Boop, boop, boop. Ugh. Whiff 6p. Like, come on. ArcSys, please. Having to confirm, like in that situation, just sucks. Sucks so much. And does no damage. Like, you're taking a huge risk here, right? You're taking a monumental risk mashing here, right? Potentially, depending on what the shit is, right? And it's just like, what do you go into? Nothing. And it just sucks. Mega Fist over the far S. Oh, full punish. Yeah, takes decent damage. Oh.
Krackatoa!
Thank you, Freddy Freeloader. That made me feel a little better about this exchange. Fucking ArcSys. ArcSys, please. For the love of God. Daisuke? Pull Pachi off of Dungeon Fighter, alright? Bring him back. This is what happens when your Faust player isn't the battle director. Right? Look at that shit. Air counter hit. Jump 2K. RC. Burns his bar, doesn't get shit, and then loses the round. Fucking garbage. This is the kind of thing that I want changed more than anything. Honestly, it should ground bounce, right? It's unsafe in like so many situations. Yes, the move is really good, and it's really dominant, especially with RC. But like, how are you supposed to convert? Like, how are you supposed to confirm that, right? Like, that's a really hard confirm. I don't think you combo it, like, I don't think you get shit. Like, I don't even think you can mix. I'm pretty sure if you don't RC, you're minus. So you could maybe throw bag here. But I think some characters can punish that too. I understand what they were going for. They were scared of jump 2K being way too good against throw break attempts. Right? Moves that kind of like go throw in vol instantly and still leave you like in and plus, is very scary. But I don't think the launch trajectory is correct for this move. I think it should pop up. I think they should just like, yeah, it looks like it should hit downwards, right? But I think they need to change it. Pain. We're approaching the witching hour too. This is the last. This might be the last round. Neutral. Thrown back. Yeah, so throwing items at a distance is like still pretty good, right? It's like, especially against Potemkin. Potemkin doesn't really have a real fast way to close a gap on reaction. Against Ram, that's a different story. Ram can be like, can just like micro dash far S, and you eat shit. So in those matchups, you have to worry. But against a slow character like Pot, it's not a big deal. Oof. Nice. Very good. I wonder if there's a better falling option here. I think as players have more time with the game, you're going to find that like these little weird exchanges where that they just like land and do nothing, right? Like you're like, oh, where was it? Right here, right? You see to this and you're like, he didn't get shit. He didn't get shit for doing this jump K. What the fuck? But I think that as people learn to play this game, they're just going to be using the correct button instead of the wrong button, right? So if he did like falling jump S, jump H, he would have gotten the same punish, but he would have gotten a full combo instead, right? So when I talk about like Faust is probably okay, just hard to use, this is kind of the stuff I'm talking about. It's just where do you place your buttons, right? This is part of like getting good at a different and new game. And why a character might feel so weak. You're like, what the fuck do I do against this character? That's what you get for having guts, alright? Not in-game guts. Straight up. Like, this is Nage's brass balls working against him, right? Wanted to go in for snip, 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 or raw throw. He had meter, he had 50 bar. So here, I think he was going to go for throw. He either mistimed his shit, or he was going to go for throw PRC, pot jump. It wasn't a bad read, but it did lose him the round. It would have set up a really good situation to win the round if he had done it. Just had the wrong read. No big deal. Just lost him the set. So that's the whole bit. That wasn't too bad.